Yeah, 25 is off to a
It's off to a special start.
It's off to a special start, man. Man. Oh, we on? We live?
We're live. We're going.
Welcome to the first edition of 2025 of the Alpha Geek Podcast. We are your hosts. I am Antoine Brett.
And I'm Taras Denisenko. So latest in the news, speaking of kicking off 2025, talking Elon Musk's Cybertruck exploded in front of the Trump Tower.
Yes, it did.
Is that a metaphor for the way 2025 is going to go?
Oh, man, next 4 years. Man, this is my thing. If you're going to blow a truck up, why don't you blow up some cheap shit? Why don't you blow up a Corolla? If you're going to use...
Seriously.
Take a $100,000 truck and just blow it up.
Yeah. What was pretty amazing about it is, and not that it's amazing that anybody did that, but everyone's like posting on Twitter or whatever that the Cybertruck's frame is still fully intact. The wheels are still attached to the truck and inflated. It's crazy. And the explosion went straight up and not out. So nobody got hurt.
Wow.
Nobody got hurt, unlike the New Orleans thing.
Oh man, yeah, I heard about that too.
Dude, that is just tragic.
Yeah, it's nuts, man. And not to jump around on stories, but the Cybertruck thing is interesting because it's just Elon is undefeated, right? And so when he builds something, like we can say, you can play devil's advocate with the fact of Elon Musk being a benefit or detriment to our society, right? Because, to make an omelet, you gotta break a few eggs, right?
Sure,
right?
Sure.
But if you blow up a vehicle and the shit remains intact, at least intact enough to where, the fallout from the explosion is minimized. I mean, come on, seriously?
Yeah.
Now the question is, did they expect that this Cybertruck was gonna...
Yeah.
Was it just something to scare people?
Yeah.
Right? Did they know the Cybertruck was going to perform the way it did and minimize the damage?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you don't go out of your way to use a Cybertruck to blow, to use it as a bomb, right?
Yeah. Clearly they didn't rehearse the whole thing, so they didn't plan, they probably just took some Toyota pickup truck and was like, oh yeah, this will probably work.
This will work. And they have plenty of money because there's a lot of vehicles you can be using. Man. You can take my truck. No.
Did I tell you I priced out? So I put a deposit on the Cybertruck, that $100 back when they first released it, and I built it out. And considering the amount of resources that go into that, it's not as expensive as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's still, it's out of my price range, but
but it's hideous. See, I
love it.
You love it, but you like bells and whistles, though. You like being the forefront. So answer me this.
Okay.
Is it the actual design of the Cybertruck,
yes, or
is it the vehicle being at the forefront of vehicle technology that attracts you the most?
Yes. Yes on all fronts. I love the design. I love the technology that's in it. My buddy has the SUV version that can go ludicrous mode. So the speed behind it, like the Beast, what is it? The Cyber Beast, which is the three motors, and it goes like 0 to freaking 100 in a blink of an eye. Like all of it, dude. It's so fast, dude. It's so fast. So, yeah, all of it. You don't like the design?
I don't. I hate the design.
Oh no,
it's like a giant refrigerator going down the road. And I get how you can create something like that and say, okay, we're going to design it the way we want, and we know people are going to buy it. I respect that, but there are so many more like sexy vehicles out there, man.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's electric, and like we've talked about, I'm not totally sold on it. I know it's coming. I get it. I know I'm going to have to conform at some point, but man, I want to hold off as much as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. The whole electric thing, I'm not completely sold on it. But the Cybertruck, I would imagine the design has to do with also the material they use. You can't like form steel as easily as maybe they had thought. I don't know. But then back in the 50s and 60s, they did. Well, but I don't know. It's I feel like the rigidity or the design is based on the rigidity and the structural integrity of
Right.
the material they're using. So,
Well, obviously, right. But no, like I did see some crash tests, and the Cybertruck did not perform. And I don't know if these sources are biased or not, but Cybertruck hitting a wall at, I think it was 75 miles an hour, basically pushed the Cybertruck all the way back to the rear axle. Like it smashed it. And again, internet, so I don't know how legitimate the crash test was, but based on that, I was like, hey, I'm not buying this. But then you hear stories about what happened in New York. New York, right?
Vegas.
Vegas at Trump Towers, and it's things like that. Or Trump Hotel, sorry.
I would say, like, was the test based on the vehicle crushing into itself? Because it's like the tests are, I will say, people hate lifted trucks because in case, and I don't know if this is accurate or not, in case you run into somebody, you will, like, they can't go over your hood. So not that you're trying to drive over people. So I'm like wondering, are they saying like when you crash into a barrier or whatnot, the vehicle won't implode in a safe way because it's based on steel, like how the frame is built? I don't know if that's what it is, but
I don't know either. I just as a whole not a fan of the look, and that's really performance. Because when we get down to the kind of nuts and bolts of it, all of these electric vehicles, as they start to evolve, they're going to perform pretty comparably. You know? So for me, it comes down to design.
More in car news off the electric thing. Japan is playing around with levitating cars.
I saw that as
well. That, dude?
Yeah.
What's that about?
I mean, Japan is at the forefront of, of vehicle technology. Let's be real. Man, so how would that work? I mean, do you need a pilot's license to drive the work type thing? Or?
And how does it levitate? Like, is it using propulsion, like, or does it need special road where does its magnetic thing? Like, I don't know. But whatever they're doing is pretty wild.
I feel like if there's any type of future that involves flying vehicles, they have to be self-driving, right? Well, and we already have self-driving cars, so it only makes sense. Because you can't have a vehicle that has you have the opportunity to engage human error, right? So it has to be self-driving. You can't zero the work. You just wherever you're going, punch it in, and I'll take you there. So
it's like on Coruscant when they have all the in Star Wars, the planet Coruscant, where they have all the spaceships flying, and they have these air roads, whatever you'd see like in the movies. They're all like following each other, and the androids are driving them or whatnot. I don't know.
I mean, we're coming up on scary times, man. We were talking a little bit off air about NVIDIA and everything is coming along with that, and AI, and they interviewed the CEO of NVIDIA. He started very young. He started his company around when he was 30 years old. And the dude just seems like a hard worker. Right? I mean, I guess you have to be. But he was on 60 Minutes, and the question was asked, it's like, hey, you have all this AI and all these robotics gonna basically make these jobs, make the human element obsolete. What happens when you take all these people's jobs? And this motherfucker said, he said that in theory, with the uptick in revenue that these companies are going to have, because less of a workforce, and then they're more efficient, that the more money they make, the more capable they are of hiring people. It's like, what? Like, who are you fooling, dude? Who are you fooling?
I would say, at least for us, on the little bit that we use, it's enhanced the way we operate. And now we teach ballroom dancing. We're an Arthur Murray dance studio. but it allows me to go into, so for instance, we'll use ChatGPT to literally bounce ideas off and like, how can I optimize my business? How can I provide a better service for my students on the digital world? So based on our website or all that kind of stuff. So I know that's not nearly as powerful as it could, or what people could use it for, but it's helped our business.
Yeah.
But it's not changing the workforce.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
because your work is still dependent on human interaction.
Yeah.
The product cannot be delivered without human interaction.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but that's not the case with a lot of, when you talk about factory jobs or, you know, a lot of labor jobs out there. I mean, it can be done by robotics.
Yeah. But Elon, going back to Elon, he's like got his, what's the name of his Android, his robot that he has? It's got a name. He's got a name. But like, there was talks, and one of my buddies was like, man, we could possibly be replaced as dance teachers, because it's like at some point, like robots could, I guess, articulate enough to be able to. I was like, no, dude.
Yeah, I think
the emotional element, the physical touch, the human touch based on what we do is more important than sometimes what learning a step is. So,
Sure. Yeah, I think the amount of emotional sophistication that it would take for like a robot to do your job is non-existent. And I don't think it will ever be. And that's the argument, you know, when we talk like the socialist, and you know, when we talk about the human element of it, there is, you know, the argument is always going to be there that there's always something that we can do that robots can't do.
Yeah.
And so and that's what it's going to turn down to come down to is that how strong is that argument, and is that going to be able to prevent or at least slow down the progression of, you know, these robots, androids, AI, whatever, being introduced into the workforce, into society. Yeah, because it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
For sure.
I mean, just like sex dolls. I mean, seriously, I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm just calling a spade a spade. You know, we live in a society right now where people are more focused on their career into a later age. People going to school longer, they're being more educated, and that's taking more time off of their marrying and child rearing years. You know, we've never had a time in society where people are like having kids 39, 40, 45, you know, years old, right? Because I think optimum female age to have children, this is optimum female age, it's between the ages of 14 and 16.
Sure.
Right? But, you know, people are going to school, they're more educated, they're not dating as much, and by the time they want to think about settling down, they're, you know, in their late 30s, early 40s. It's way easier to, you know, you can get an Android, you know, to handle the needs of. Yeah. I mean, it's coming. I feel like that's going to be one of the first industries that is infiltrated is going to be like, I guess it would be pornography, right?
Yeah, it would be. So, I mean, there's obviously validity to what you're saying, is because on Netflix, what's that movie with Megan Fox?
Megan Fox.
Oh man! And I heard it was actually Subservient.
It wasn't bad.
I heard it was a good movie.
It was not bad.
And I heard it was a good movie, not from just guys. I heard it was from girls saying it was a good movie. So I was like, okay.
We watched it. It was good. I enjoyed it. But
did Jamie enjoy it?
She did. She did. Yeah. She was it was a couple parts of the movie where she was hating on Megan Fox. I was like, I ain't gonna hate on Andrew. But that was the whole point of the movie. Her character in the movie was to make you not like her, right? Yeah. Because she's essentially taking your place. You know.
Yeah. We're actually, because we were gonna watch it, and I was like, well. Andrea, one of our employees, she was like, yeah, it was actually a good movie. So Wendy was like, okay, well, maybe we'll watch it. I was like, all right.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
But from organic or like a biological standpoint, like, can you recreate like the sexual experience from an android woman or an android male, you know, like, because we all know, like, if you're a man, you know what it feels like to have sex with a woman, and vice versa. If you're a woman, you know what it's like to have sex with a man. Could you recreate that in a good enough way to make it, you know, you want to go out, okay, I'll spend $20,000 to buy this sex doll.
I'm sure there's quite a population that hopes so. I don't know if I don't know, but
it's crazy.
There's some dude in his basement figuring it out right now.
No, so we were talking about Whitney Cummings earlier.
Oh man,
Whitney Cummings, she's a comedian. If you're not aware, she's very, very funny. And I watched a video of her walking through a factory of a company that made a sex doll to her likeness. And it was and I'm not even her, and it was like the creepiest thing. Like you're looking at yourself as like a sex doll. You know this thing is gonna be made to pleasure men.
Oh yeah,
you know,
like that. What was that show on HBO? Westworld, man. And there was like a scene where they went into. We actually stopped watching it. We lost interest in it. But when they're walking, you could see all the robots or androids or whatever they were just hanging.
Yeah,
that's so creepy.
Isn't that creepy? It's crazy,
so
right?
Creepy.
I feel like it would be a big mistake. It would be a lot easier to have a female sex doll if you're a male than having a male sex doll if you're a female. Because if that shit glitch, it's gonna be a bad night for you, sister.
You're walking
and trying to turn it down. Put it on 2.
Shouldn't there be like a maximum size it goes to? Why is it? Yeah. Oh my god.
But you'll be able to change adjustments. Say like if you are more capable, then you can get the 10-inch. The 10 or the 11. If you like, hey, nah, I'm good. I'm pretty shallow, so I'm gonna let me get a 3. But that's what I'm telling you. That's what it's coming to.
Oh man!
Like if you're pregnant, you're having kids. Like we're at the point now in our society where you can say, all right, somewhere down my genetic line that we have these markers, right? Of course, when you finally have your child, you're not gonna have all those things, right?
Yeah.
But you can go in and customize. Like I want, we have blue eyes in the family. I want my kid to have blue eyes, blonde hair. I want him to be between that heights of 6 foot and 6'3". Like you can go in and do that shit now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts,
dude. I got to say, it's not good for society. It's not going to be good for society.
Is that what it is? That's your final answer?
For me, I just don't think like you are taking out so many important things and what it is to be a human being. Like more I hear it, I'm like,
and it's like everything else though, man. It's like it's gonna become commonplace. Remember the first time you saw an electric bike?
Yeah,
driving out, it's like, holy shit, what is that? That's cool as shit. And that shit was $20,000.
Yeah,
now you can get one for $200.
Yeah,
I mean. And now it's normal. It's just like anything else, man.
But that's a mode of transportation. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's. I don't think that's a good comparison. But
20 years from now, you're going to be walking down the street, and Joe Schmo is going to be walking beside his robot girlfriend, and it's going to be. You're not going to look twice at it. You're going to be like, oh, okay. Well.
There was another movie. I can't remember if it was 80s or the 90s. It must be 90s because it was Jude Law was in it, and he was a male sex doll or sex robot. Oh man, what was
Jude
that?
Law was? Wow.
Jude
what
Law
movie was that?
And it was shoot. I gotta look it up. But yeah, I mean they were people were imagining that way back then.
Yeah,
so way back. It was freaking ancient times.
The 90s.
I know. I gotta look up. What was Jude Law? It was
but then you have the movie Her, remember, with Joaquin Phoenix, Scarlett Johansson. This was artificial intelligence, and he ended up falling in love with it. Now it didn't have a body, but he fell in love with the emotional connection that he had with this, basically Alexa.
Yeah,
just a very sophisticated version of Alexa.
Yeah. What? Oh, Alexa.
Oh shit! Sorry,
I got to turn that off. But the movie was AI. So Jude Law was a Gigolo Joe, AI intelligence. Remember that was like he was a little kid, was a robot, and he was trying to find. They were like parents, if they couldn't have kids, they would make robots so they could like have the feeling of, oh man.
I vaguely remember it, but I definitely need to watch that again.
Yeah, it's I'll pull it up here so you can see. But the little kid, like it was with Robin Williams. No, not Robin Williams. Shoot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I go check it out. I got nothing to do tonight.
Yeah, it was a good movie. I mean, it was cool. It came out in now if all your listeners are like, it's this, don't you know? 2001.
01.
So
right.
it was earlier than that. But yeah.
Do you think just some things are meant for you to just do on your own? Like if you have the option, if we do get to that point, like going back to the Subservient movie, if you do get to that point, to where you said, hey, we need somebody to clean around this place, take care of our shit, you know, you get this artificial, would you do it? Would you do it?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I would say that now.
Yeah.
I would say that now. But if you saw it and somebody else tested out, like I'm cool with getting the latest technology in a Cybertruck, but bringing a robot in the house, I'm like, I don't know. I've seen too many movies where they flake out.
Oh man. Well,
would you?
See.
Are you?
I think it just depends on like my need.
Okay.
You know, would my need outweigh my concern about having it?
Yeah.
So, hopefully I never need one for like sex.
Yeah.
I'm good on that. But if you say, all right, you know, this from a cost standpoint, this is going to be a lot less expensive than hiring XYZ, you know. And, you know, from a longevity standpoint, like the human error aspect is definitely
okay. So I'm going to jump to a film. An old Disney film when Disney was, I feel like in its heyday. Wall-E. Did you ever see Wall-E?
Yeah.
Remember Wall-E? So at the end of the movie, so they had robots that did everything for him. And then look at what happened when they finally go into space and they find the ships, and all the people are just like super overweight and just like floating around in their chairs. And I'm like, I think people need to stay mobile and do stuff and like take care of their own garbage.
Yeah, but shit, people need to do that now. We don't even have robots.
Yeah, I know.
I
know. I mean, I'm not saying that for public services, like, you know, if there's like something that could be automated to clean up our streets and like do that, I think that'd be amazing. Yeah, but have every person have a robot, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
I think it's funny because every movie that plays with the whole robotics thing, that is the premise though. They're a servant, right, and they in some way they turn on like their masters and shit like that. So and it's funny, man, like, because Hollywood kind of predicts this shit. But
then it turns into T-1000 and then they're killing us all. So
Skynet.
Did you get a chance to watch Secret Level?
I have not.
Oh,
no. Okay. Well, I was going to start it the other day, but then I was like, all right, I need to get invested in this. Yeah. So
I will say, it is so good. And just piggybacking on the whole Disney thing, when you get content and like going back to the Acolyte, what Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy did to the whole Star Wars thing, how they jacked it up. Here we got, and I got to write his name down because I keep forgetting it, Tim Miller. So Tim Miller is the producer of Secret Level, and he's done, I haven't seen Borderlands yet, but you said you saw that, right?
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And a lot of people said it was terrible unless you played the game. So if you played the game, you're going to be like, that's cool. Okay. So I'm going to watch it, but he's done other projects like Deadpool. He's worked on the first Deadpool and some of the Deadpool commercials. He's also done the Sonic films. Okay. That's his thing. And he's also one of the game developers for his company, I think, worked as one of the game developers. But it was just kind of it was an interesting comparison where they take this material and it's all video games, and it's like taking the story behind Pac-Man or Warhammer or the other games that they did, and they created something not better, but they paid homage to the original idea, but they built off of that. And all the fandom, now they're all gamers, they all love it. So
really?
Prime's greenlit it for season 2.
Really? Yeah.
So it's just funny because it's like, I was listening to a couple other YouTubers talking about the Star Wars stuff and how Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy are destroying Star Wars, and the whole Star Wars fandom. I mean, they're just kind of like hands up in the air, and they're like, I'm not at you're losing that.
Yeah.
Where you have this guy, Tim Miller, he's like going the other way. And it's a winning formula. So I still don't understand why they're taking that approach.
Well, that's all ego driven.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's ego driven. It's they are well aware of what they're doing, and they would rather push their own agenda than actually give the fans what they're gonna respond best to.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's pretty evident at this point.
Yeah.
You know, it's like beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
You know, these and what's gonna happen is people, and it's already happening. People are gonna get fed up, and it's gonna spill over into other projects and other, like the Star Wars stuff is gonna start to spill over to the Marvel fans, and these fans are gonna start seeing it as one big giant entity instead of the division like it has been. This is Star Wars, this is Marvel, this is Pixar, this is this is that. And let's just hold on for the ride, man.
Yeah, I just don't get it. Like, I don't get it. But I will say, Skeleton Crew, I'm still on board on that. That's still like, that's the and Jude Law's in that. But I'm not completely caught up to the latest episode. But as of episode 4, I love it. It's got the Goonies vibe though, so shout out to all my 80s fans out there. It's like it's got even like the soundtrack. Todd, my buddy Todd, was talking about. He's like, dude, remember when they're in the well? I don't know if you remember, they're in the bottom of the well, and you hear the music playing, or when they find something. There's that specific sound that they had. So Skeleton Crew's kind of doing a little bit of that. So that's pretty cool. But if you decide to get Disney again, I don't know if it's worth getting Disney Plus again, but it's cool.
What are you looking forward to in 2025 the most?
As far as shows go?
Yeah.
Or
movies.
I know it's already out actually. My next show to start watching is Creature Commandos.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
That
is awesome.
Is it?
It's really good.
Yeah. And I was just told Peacemaker's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I know you watched that, but my brother-in-law told me about both of those. He's like, James Gunn, man. He's like, if you like Guardians, he's like, it's definitely a little more gory, but
Peacemaker was good, and there second season should be out here pretty soon.
Yeah.
And Creature Commandos is just so well done, man.
Yeah.
So well done.
Like X-Men well done?
Yeah. And there's no precedent for Creature Commandos because we haven't had any animated content.
Yeah.
And X-Men had. So X-Men is, I'm going to give a nod to X-Men because if they would have fucked up X-Men, it would have been a wrap.
Yeah.
Right? Because this was something that was so iconic and so many people loved it. And for you to go and try to recreate it and mess it up.
Yeah.
But they did a great job. That's why I hope they hire Bo DeMaio back.
Yeah.
Creature Commandos, this is kind of, the stakes are almost as high. This is James Gunn's DCU, right? And this is the first animated offering that we got from it.
Yeah.
And I love the artwork. It's like that old school kind of, it looks like a very blocky style artwork. Kind of like Injustice. The Injustice animated movie is very cool. So I love it. All the voice actors are great. I mean, it's definitely a good warm up to the DCU.
Yeah.
We got Superman coming up.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a good lead up to that. Kind of get the fans warm for it.
So I don't think we talked yet since seeing the Superman trailer.
No, we haven't.
We haven't.
We talked right before it came out.
Yeah. So your thoughts?
Oh, it was great. It was exactly what you wanted to get out of a trailer. Yeah. And I mean, you had me when he was like, "Take me home in crypto." I was like, "You had me. I'm done.
Yeah.
Take my money."
Yeah.
So
that's funny.
It's gonna be. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be. James Gunn he just knows how to do this shit, man.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. Some people are just they just know how to do this shit.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, man.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about it.
People are still kind of like questioning the suit. Like the whole suit thing, it still does look like a pair of pajamas, but
so the story, David Cornsweet,
yep,
he tells a story. Originally they weren't going to go with the trunks on the suit.
Okay.
And the story is that David Cornsweet comes on set and he's like, this is a alien who's been trying to find his way in this human society for 30 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's already super overpowered. He understands what that means to other people, and he wanted to use the trunks as a way to almost depower himself physically.
Okay.
So he would be more attractive to like the people that he wants to end up being a part of. So I thought, when they articulated it that way, I thought it was cool.
Interesting.
I get it. It was. So, and James Gunn was like, all right, let's do that. So
wow. Yeah. As an actor though, he he's like 240 and ripped and looks like looks like a monster. I was like, you work hard, and then I don't know if you covered that up. I don't know if he's pissed about it, but
he got into great shape.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I love Henry Cavill's Superman.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things. That is a close second for me. Captain America: Brave New World is what I'm looking forward to the most because it has to be good.
It has to be good
for a lot of different reasons. Man, socially, economically, of course, it has to be a good movie, man. So
Have you heard about all the reshoots that it's going under?
Heard about the reshoots, which is normal. It's common. People every time you hear reshoots, like, oh shit, the movie must be terrible.
Yeah.
But they've been doing this forever.
Yeah.
You can't you do reshoots. It's just what it is. When you work with a movie that has that much CG and you got to do reshoots. You got to clean it up.
Yeah.
So
all right, I read into it. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
if they're doing test marketing on it and they're like it's not being received well, is that why they're doing the reshoots, or just well, remember Deadpool and Wolverine did reshoots, a bunch of reshoots, and we said the same thing. Oh, what's wrong with the movie? Yeah.
Now I do know that they did change the name because the original name was Captain America: New World Order, and they thought that might be too aggressive. So for the fans, so they changed it, which is weird. It was whatever. And but reshoots are common. That doesn't scare me.
So for me, 2025, I'm just looking forward to more TV shows than movies.
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
What do you? What?
I know. You want me to say it for you?
1, 2, 3. Stranger Things.
Suits LA.
Oh man. Although, no, I was gonna say Stranger Things. I'm digging on Stranger Things. And actually, which should be coming out soon. Wednesday.
Oh, new
Wednesday's coming out.
Okay,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
I follow a lady online on Instagram, and she dresses up like Wendy. She's like pumped. She's a fitness influencer.
Okay,
but she goes to all these cons and dressed up as Wendy, looks just like her, and she does like all these crazy dances. And she's very popular on Instagram.
Yeah. Like the Wednesday dance was very. It was taken off for a while there.
Yeah,
our good friends Todd and Lisa, their daughter looks. They always dress up, like not always, but they have dressed her up as Wednesday, and she's a spitting image. Yeah, it's so crazy. It's so funny. She even gives that look of that
like that blank stare.
Yeah, blank stare. It's so funny.
It's creepy. That's what it is.
Yeah.
In news, we all kind of saw this coming, but it's confirmed that Jason Momoa is cast as Lobo in the Supergirl movie.
Yep.
So, but for the people who know, we've been kind of waiting for this to happen. We kind of knew it was going to happen. So stoked about it. I'm stoked about Supergirl in general.
Yeah. Have you? I don't know anything much more other than that. So who's cast as Supergirl? What is the premise of it?
I forget her name, but she played the young in House of the Dragon, the young version of
Khaleesi?
Nah, not Khaleesi. That's Game of Thrones. But House of
Oh,
Dragon.
Yeah.
The daughter.
Okay.
Wow, why am I forgetting her name?
Sorry, I'll look it up.
But she plays the young version, because they do time jump, and she's like the old version now, or the older version now. She played the girl that played the child version of
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. It is, let's see who's, all right, let me put it on. And boom. Okay, there we go. Cast. Yeah. So it looks like we got
Mila Alcock. Yeah.
Supergirl Tomorrow is being directed by Craig Gillespie and stars House of the Dragon actress Alcock as Kara Zor-El.
Kara Zor-El, man. I still love the TV show, Supergirl TV show. A lot of people didn't like it. I liked it. Yeah. Melissa Benoit was.
I don't remember the names. I just remember watching it. But yeah,
it was kind of in that Arrowverse. So if you like the Arrowverse,
I
stuff,
did. Yeah,
you
never got to
that.
finish it. I gotta finish Arrowverse.
It stopped like very abruptly.
I did. Okay,
like, it was going well, and they did like their crisis events were very cool because they did a crossover of all the shows, and then they were like, "Oh, Supergirl won't be won't be gonna be canceled after this year." So this season, so I think they were in the current season when they announced the cancellation, like this is going to be the last season. So whatever.
Wow. In other recent news, I don't know how recent, but going back to the holiday season, since the holidays are now over, the Elf is one of my probably all-time favorite holiday movies to watch, and there was drama on set. Jon Favreau and Will Ferrell did not get along.
On the original Elf?
On the original Elf. And supposedly James Caan was talking about how Will Ferrell was always just being crazy over the top. But the dude, the big dude that's in the mall that was like the manager of the Christmas Village, they were interviewing and they were saying that, and he was not a fan of Will Ferrell's. He was just like, he kept questioning oh my God, I just said his name, Jon Favreau's vision for Elf. And he's like, you really think this is going to be funny? You really think this is going to work? And I guess to the point where he said Jon Favreau used his own money, took the film and had a screen test and it exploded. Like it was the best thing. And he was like, all right. So, and the actor that plays, I got to look it up, but he was just like, just go with your vision. Just go with your vision. Even to this day, he was saying that when Jon Favreau and Will Ferrell come across paths, they don't talk to each other.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I don't know if that's just incorrect gossip, but yeah, I was surprised to hear that one.
Man, I like both of those guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
In a perfect world, I hope we will all get along.
Yeah.
Kindness 2025.
Yeah.
But, those, I mean, I'm not surprised, though, you get to guys who are really devoted to their craft and they have a particular vision and bump heads.
Yeah. And I suppose if you're like a big successful comedian like that and you have this idea of what's funny and it's not aligning with what the director wants, maybe they're just the egos are clashing. And because both of those guys produce awesome, hilarious stuff.
Yeah, dude. I'm like I said, I love them both. Yeah. A lot of people, and so I do know a lot of people who don't like Will Ferrell's his type of comedy. He is annoying, kind of over the top stuff. I love it. I think it's hilarious. But I have met a good amount of people who just, Will Ferrell, I hate that guy. Type thing. So,
wow. Okay.
Well, everybody's not into it.
Yeah, that's true. There's a comedian that's on a Netflix special. I don't remember his name, but we started watching it. He's like super dry and he's just, I gotta look up his name. But he hosted SNL and he was kind of funny on the SNL because he dressed up as like the founding fathers. Like he was George Washington. He's like, someday we're going to name our food like beef. Like we're going to, anyway, he just, the comedy is really dry and I just didn't like it.
No, yeah.
But we're like, Joe Coy is like freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
Like,
so I like it all. I like funny shit. Like I like it all. Like that dry kind of sarcasm.
Yeah.
I dig that. I like the over the top shit. If it's funny to me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool.
Man. So that's what I'm looking forward to. There's a bunch of projects coming out. We got Invincible in March.
Okay.
That's third on my list. Invincible season 3. So that's gonna be my shit. And then I think do we get The Boys this year, 2025?
I think so.
The final season of The Boys.
I think I heard that.
So,
yeah. In gaming news, big release coming this year, GTA.
Oh, finally.
GTA 6 is coming out. Yeah.
Jesus.
There's no released actual date yet, but it's supposed to be for this year. And I feel like it's more in the beginning of the year. But that's going to be a huge thing.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. People, it's downloadable content. So you don't have to go to the store and get it anymore. But I remember when you had to, these stores were mobbed to get Grand Theft Auto. It was crazy.
Yep.
So, luckily we're not going to have that problem anymore. But
do you have any sense of nostalgia? Like if a Blockbuster was to come back, or if there was and I know you're going to probably say it. I feel like I know what you're going to say, but getting a VHS or a DVD or would that be something that you'd be like, oh, that's cool?
Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
It's like, why?
Is that cool? So I know the record thing, record players kind of made a comeback, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, who the fuck has records?
Yeah.
You got records, right?
I got records.
You got records. So but is that market big enough to justify bringing back record players? Do enough people have records that they want to play? Because at the end of the day, CDs sound better than records, and then digitally sounds better than CDs. So it's like,
But digital, so digital files are not all equal, because you have MP3s, you have waves, you have maybe those are just the two sizes. So for instance, like when we do our podcast, I have to upload it to Libsyn through an MP3 file because it's condensed, and when you look at the wave files, it's all truncated, but if a wave file, you see the full fidelity of it. So whereas a record, there is no compression, there's no limitations. So for those real people that feel like they can, I can't hear the difference.
Really?
I've listened to too much metal over the years
that.
But true audio fanatics are vinyl is the only way.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And for me, and the reason I asked you this question is my buddy just sent me a video of this guy in Portland, Oregon. He just bought $20,000 worth of inventory from a store that went out of business in Seattle. That is all VHSs and CDs and DVDs. I guess there's still a market for it, but I don't know if there is here. But I think there's a record store in Virginia Beach. I think.
There is a record store. There's one in Norfolk as well.
There is, yeah.
Right there on in the Ghent area.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it, but I like convenience.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
So I get the nostalgia of it, and maybe I'm not old enough yet to appreciate the nostalgia of some of those things. It's cool to have a VHS player, but who the fuck's gonna put a VHS tape in there?
Yeah.
So you can watch a movie that you probably seen 100 times anyway.
Yeah.
Nah.
No.
I'm good. Streaming
is so much easier. But it's I suppose some people like the experience of the I don't know, the tactile feel of holding that tape and pushing that thing down.
Really?
Yeah. I still do.
I feel like I would get, if someone gave me an old school Nintendo, I would play it.
Yeah.
The 3 games that Mike Tyson's Punch Out, Contra, shit like that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go out of my way to buy a Nintendo.
No. Did you ever play I forgot the name of the game where you're just swinging from a vine and trying to jump over alligators?
What was it? Is it Pit something?
Pitfall.
Pitfall. Yeah. I did play it. Yeah.
Dude, I love that game, and I revisited it, and it was terrible.
It's just it's so slow.
It's so slow. Some things you just don't need to go back to.
I think the only game where I could pick it up now and still be challenged by it is probably Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Mike Tyson was virtually impossible to be in that fucking video game.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, because you got to time it just right, and everything was so fast. And there was a rhythm. It was a broken rhythm that you had to really get And if you got it, then you can beat him. But it took you, like, no one's beating Mike Tyson the first time out on Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It's just not happening.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so, that's funny.
And then maybe this is later, but God of War. I want to see a new God of War movie, video game.
Yeah. There was, what's the latest one that came out that, I think it came out a couple years ago. It came out with the new PlayStation. Yeah. I played that. Dude, that was freaking awesome.
It's awesome. And then who is it? What's the actor's name that voiced him?
God of War?
Yeah. I think wasn't he voiced by he played the old man. He plays in the show The Old Man. Crap. He voiced Kratos.
Is it Christopher Judge?
Is he the latest?
Let's see. Actors of God of War. Let's see. Oh, these are Zeus with Kratos. Is that it? Yeah, right. Kratos. Yeah. God of War voice actor for Kratos with a K. Here we go.
Yeah. It was Christopher Judge. Yeah. So he was. You remember that show Living Single?
Yeah.
He's from Living Single.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He was one of the roommates that lived in the other apartment across.
That's wild.
Yeah, man.
Dude, that's a great game.
But I think he's been voicing him for ever. He is like the only guy who's been the voice of Kratos.
In the Secret Level shows, I can't remember which episode it is, but it's where it's one of the final episodes. It's super cool. Because you see Kratos come in with all these other. Do you ever remember when PlayStation first came out and there was like a game that was like a little puppet head? Anyway, I don't remember what it's called, but it was pretty cool. One of those episodes has all those kind of like nods to all the old video games where they all just come together. It was wild. So hopefully anybody, if you can write in the comments, which episode was that? I don't remember, but it was good.
Resolutions.
Ooh.
Are you a resolutioner?
Yeah, kind of.
Did you set one for 2025?
Well, we set our goals. We definitely set some goals for 2025.
Are you going to share with, or you want to keep them? Some people keep them hush because they're like, well, we're not going to, it's not going to happen if we tell people.
Well, we do. I mean, we do set personal and business goals, and obviously growth is the biggest part of it.
Sure.
So, but we do have some fitness goals that we're trying to get where I can actually go toe to toe with you and last more than 15 seconds.
Let's do it. No.
But how about you?
Of course, you want to be successful on that end. But my New Year's resolution this year is to lead with kindness.
Nice.
I think I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm a nice guy.
Yep.
But I do go into certain situations very skeptical of what's in front of me. Sometimes I'm one of those people where it was like, I'm gonna. You got to prove that you're a good person. You got to prove,
So when it comes to people individually or organizations or
people individually,
okay.
And so instead of doing that and being skeptical from Jump Street, I think I'm gonna start leading with kindness and giving them people benefit of the doubt until they give me a reason not to, type thing.
Okay.
So that's kind of my goal.
Yeah. Have you encountered a lot of situations where it would make you not feel that way?
Oh, sure. People are shitty. Across the board, people are assholes, right? And so I think, and we're older too, so we've seen it all, right? And so because of that, we're kind of jaded to, people around us, and, for good reason. We've seen some of the worst shit. And but I think I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna try to be a little bit more optimistic about the spirit of people, and I hope it works out.
Yeah, so. I think that's a really, really great resolution to have. I think I think our country should all take that resolution.
Yeah, 100%, man, 100%. It was actually a funny story, man. I was at the golf course playing golf on New Year's. Was it? No. The Saturday before New Year's. Okay. Our friends, Brooke and James, they celebrated their anniversary. Happy anniversary. And they were nice enough to spend the day with Jamie and I so me and James can play golf together.
Nice.
So as we're leaving the golf course, there's and I'm like the only black dude in the vicinity at the time. And these bunch of bikers, they get off their bike and they have like these, you know, big, like they have like the Fat Boys and the Dynaglides and stuff like that. So hard. And so immediately, like, I mean, and these are bikers, dude, like big leather jackets, like the big beards, like the whole, and so I'm walking out. And, you know, they walk up and this dude, he goes out of his way and he says, "Hey, man, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Hope you have a good new year. You know, how we had a great Christmas." Didn't know this dude from Adam. And so I thought that was like very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Because he didn't have to. Like if we could have passed each other and no one said nothing to anyone and everything had been fine. But I thought it was cool. I thought it was like awesome sentiment to have. And it took me back to another story. I was at this is years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I was at Chick's and I walk in to Chick's and there's a bunch of Hell's Angels just kind of like hanging out at Chick's. And I was like, all right, well shit. And I'm one of those people, it's like I'm a big dude, so you know, I kind of go and like, you know, wedge my way into basically anywhere. And I hear, "Oh, Antoine." And I was like, "Oh, what the hell?" And it was my buddy Tom. He had like Hell's Angels jacket on and everything. It was cool. And like, so I walk over and now we're like all having drinks and shit. And the buddy that was with me, he's like, "You the only motherfucker I know." The only big black dude I know that's hanging out with Hell's Angels at Chick's Oyster Bar. So
Seriously.
it was like one of those things. It's like there's no level of shit that we've been through in our history that we can't get past.
Yeah.
Right. And again, if you lead with kindness and you like just address people the way that you want to be addressed and treat people the way you want to be treated, there's no limit to what we can do as a society, man.
Yeah.
It's just like, just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
You know, and it sounds really easy when you say it like that. That's a very oversimplification of it. But as you know, our society as a whole has had a hard time doing that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we all go through our own shit. You know, we're raised a certain way, we've seen certain things, and that is gonna shape our personality and our character and the way we view the world. But dude, at the end of the day, man, and even with that, people are gonna fuck us over.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. But I think if you lead with just an optimistic outlook to the world around us and treat people the way you want to be treated, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I'm totally with you one-on-one. Like people will always get along for the most part. Yeah. But there are definitely powers at play that don't want us to get along and always want us to turn against one another. Yeah. And that's just, we have to be wise enough and mature enough and be able to see that there are elements that are pushing us to divide. And I feel like, the two of us are an example of like, everyone can get along.
Yeah. I mean, 100%.
Like, where could you see with your background and my background, how often would our paths ever cross? And and they have, and it's we have a blossoming relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it's like we've been able, we're friends, so we've been able to benefit each other's lives in a way that wouldn't have been there if we hadn't. So I mean, and that's what our society is like missing out on. Like you're missing out on the opportunity to have someone that's outside of your circle benefit your life in some way. It could be small, it could be big. You just don't know.
Yeah.
And even like something as small as just giving you a different outlook on the world that you don't see every day. You know, there's a bunch of shit you don't see every day that other people do.
Yeah. And
there might be some gems that you can give other people. It's just
There was a quick just story. There was when we were on vacation, Wendy and I went to Gatlinburg, and we went to this really cool mountain called Anaquista, which has this neat, just outdoor experience. And there were just happened to be a lot of Latinos there, and it was kind of brought to our attention that that they noticed that there were a lot of Latinos. But as I was walking around, I didn't notice that at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's if it's maybe because we're now living in Virginia Beach, which I feel Virginia Beach is very diverse when it comes to everybody.
It is.
And so it was just an interesting thing to hear. I was just like, I mean, I heard a lot of people speaking Spanish. I heard that, but it didn't affect me. It didn't make me notice like more of it. If it was like, I wish I could speak Spanish.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. It's interesting to, that are Virginia Beach and Norfolk and it's just pretty diverse. So
yeah, I mean, it helps because we're in a military town, so it's definitely a melting pot.
But you definitely, I think it's helped me just not have any type of feeling when I see somebody, just when I visually see them. Yeah, I mean, unless they're tweaking on drugs, then I'll be like, oh, okay, I gotta steer away from that. But yeah.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. That's the benefit of being in a place like this. Is like you said, it is diverse, and we do get to see and experience a lot of different cultures and a lot of different things. But take advantage of it, embrace it, man. Totally. Embrace that shit. Like I remember the first time I went to Greek Fest, I was like, oh, this place is fucking awesome. I think I put on like 10 pounds that day, but and then it's cool, man. It's like I have Greek friends, I have Filipino friends, I have Puerto Rican friends, like you name it, I have it. So like I can, for me to say I don't see color is the most idiotic thing in the world, because I think the first thing in understanding and respecting someone's differences is acknowledging that someone is different from you. Sure. Right. And then, like, what you do after that is up to you. That's going to dictate what type of person you are. But I think we do need to understand that people have different challenges. People come from different backgrounds, because that is going to help you be more equipped to engage with that person. You can't engage with everyone the same way because people don't think like you. Right. You know, so. Right.
But would you say that term, it's funny you bring that up, I don't see color, like there's some people that I feel like that term either could mean when I see somebody, I don't see color, meaning that I don't have judgment based off of that. Right. But of course you're going to see somebody who looks different than you, but that doesn't mean that I treat them differently. Yeah. But I do also recognize that people have cultural differences growing up, and color may be part of that, but also demographic, and not demographic, but where they're from. Like when I grew up in upstate New York, people are different in Rochester than they are in Virginia Beach.
Yeah,
or different
sure.
So it's like, I don't know. It's but culture is different, and especially in Europe, like, or in the Middle East, like people are so judgy about, oh, we're trying to fight for these people's rights that are a certain cultural, but if you actually lived their culture, you may not feel the same exact way.
Yeah, so, and that's a lot of what we're seeing now. And I know exactly what you're talking about. We don't have to touch on it too much. Yeah, but yeah, and that's true. That there is just, you have to just respect people as much, and it's cool that you're not aware or you don't have knowledge of this thing. And I mean, it's up to you to learn. If you want to learn, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I remember, I forgot, was it, it wasn't Khabib, but it was the current, I think he's the UFC bantamweight champion. And he's from the same, he's Russian or from wherever Khabib is. I'm sorry, forgive me.
Yeah, he's from, not Uzbekistan, but one of those. Yeah.
So they were doing some pre-fight press stuff and promo stuff. And the dude that he was fighting called him a motherfucker. And this made him angrier than anything. He's like, you don't call me that. You don't. And he doesn't. And the guy is like promoting a fight. He's trying to understand why he's so angry. In their culture, that's a huge no-no. Like in our culture, we call him.
It's casual.
Like every third word. But so it's just respect people.
Yeah, 100%.
Treat them good.
Yeah. Before we close out, I want to know where you got that hat.
I got this hat. So I have my friend Jen. She has a friend who owns a shop over in Ghent area. Now I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the shop's name, but it's in the same shopping center as the Taste Unlimited. It's a bundt cake place. It's off of Collie Avenue.
I gotta get me one of those.
Off of 21st Street. But yes, I got it from her.
Is it a clothing shop?
It's a clothing shop.
It is a clothing shop.
Yes. And I can tell you where it is. Actually, I'll text her and get it from you.
Okay.
And maybe we'll put it in the comments.
Dude, I like that. I want to get. I've been looking for a 757 hat.
Yeah, no, I used to I had another one that B from the Cutting Up podcast. He had them too. Okay. He had some really cool ones, and I think he just sold out of them. But
okay.
I love this hat.
Yeah, it's super cool. Just real quick news on in Hampton Roads with Pharrell. They didn't come to a decision, so something in the water. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's probably.
I don't know. That thing has been going back and forth. I think at this point it's like haunted. It's like it's bad juju.
Yeah. Diddy's fault.
Dude, this Diddy shit. And Jay-Z too. Now
Jay-Z, yeah.
Oh, okay. Real quick, what'd you think of the Beyonce halftime show? Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it.
So evidently 20 million more people watched this than the CMAs.
Yeah. I did hear that.
For a 15-minute show.
Was it good?
It was great.
Okay.
She's a showman.
Yeah.
She's like, it was probably the best Super Bowl show I've ever seen. And it wasn't even in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was just very clean. It was like, everything was like spot on. She's been doing it so long. She's so good at it. She's very meticulous. I mean,
was it the country aspect of it, or did she kind of mix in everything?
It was a country. It was majority country, but she had Post Malone had a cameo, and then Shabuzi did. You know, he's big now, and but it's just like everything was just well done.
Yeah,
like she's just clean and precise, and everything happened the way it was. It didn't, you watch some of these halftime shows and it just looked like it's just like pandemonium, like everything is just happening everywhere.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. And it was big too. She had hundreds of dancers, and it was just well done, man.
Yeah.
It was cool. But Queen Bee, man, you got to give her credit.
Yeah. Best halftime show ever.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, dude. Come on now.
I would say Michael Jackson, but definitely Prince was I keep watching the Prince one over and over again when he's playing in the rain. Like,
Michael Jackson, dude.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I like Janet's too.
Oh yeah.
I like that one too, y'all. Yeah. Cool. Super Bowl. Hope the Packers go. Go Pack go.
Yeah. Hey, Bills made the playoffs too, right?
Yeah.
I was like,
shit, the Bills are the playoffs.
I might get back into football because the Bills is the reason I kind of like left football. I was just like, I was so frustrated, and now I'm like, oh my God,
dude, Josh Allen's MVP. He'll probably get the MVP this season. I'm telling you, Kansas City's good, but I think the Super Bowl champs run through Buffalo right now. Like Buffalo's gonna be. They're gonna be tough, dude.
Yeah,
they're just so good.
So good.
They're so good.
Cool,
man.
Awesome.
On behalf of myself and my homeboy Taras, we hope you have a great 2025. Be kind to people, y'all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Peace.